Hello, babies. I hope you had a good week. I hope that you have kept up with your water intake, that you have eaten well, and you have gotten as much sleep as you possibly can. Because again, you can't help anyone before you help yourself. So, remember a while back when you couldn't be on TikTok for more than 3 seconds without hearing about the shadow work journal? Today I want to speak a little bit on shadow work, shadow integration, and why it is important in the BDSM lifestyle. So many of us who deal in spirituality, witchcraft, etc., are familiar with the phrase, as above, so below. As within, so without. It's the same concept when we're speaking about things like yin and yang, the dark and the light. One of the things that I always speak on is the fact that light does not exist without darkness. They are two halves of the same whole. What creates problems is an imbalance in the two sides, whether it's the dark and the light, the masculine, the feminine, etc. Shadow work asks you to dive deep into the dark side of yourself, the things that you can't admit to yourself easily, the things that are seen as negative to many people, your demons, so to speak. When we speak about shadow integration, that is basically the act of not only confronting your shadow, not only breaking down what is creating the shadow self, but making friends with your demons, making friends with the dark side of you, and understanding how it helps you to basically project your light. So why is that important in this lifestyle? It's very simple. Because if you do not have a handle on your shadow self, it will grow larger than your light self and wreak havoc on everyone around you and yourself. You can tell when someone has an imbalance in their shadow self when you see these doms that are out here and they're unhinged. They don't understand their boundaries. They call themselves sadistic when actually there's just no concept of consent or boundaries or anything like that. They are off the hinges. You can also run into switches or submissives who have the same issue. They might not understand that consent goes both ways, that some dominants are not going to agree with something that they ask them to do or a role that they want them to fulfill. So they end up using manipulation tactics in order to get the dominant that they want, and then it all goes to shit. Doing that shadow work, confronting your shadow, and eventually integrating that shadow helps you in the long run to be a better dominant, to be a better submissive, to be a better switch, and to be a more responsible lifestyler. Now, I know you're now asking me, well, how do we do this shadow work? How do we do this shadow integration? To that I say, I can teach you, but I have to charge. You know that line? You remember that line? But no, on a serious note, I offer through the Kinky Cafe a workshop called Exploring Our Depths. This workshop teaches you grounding, embodiment, and shadow work, utilizing conscious BDSM as your foundation. You can head on over to the Kinky Cafe IG for tickets. They will be in the story as a QR code and as a link, and I will be posting the video tonight with the QR code for tickets on TikTok. and our YouTube. And lastly, if you are going to the March on Washington this weekend, this upcoming weekend, please make sure that you are wearing layers, thin layers, many layers. You get your Faraday cages and bags or whatever you need. Make sure that your face is covered. Make sure that you have your masks, because not only is COVID on the rise, you also don't want the cops to know your identity. Please be safe out there. And remember, you're not broken, just a little bent.